Hello there, and welcome to the 8th lesson, which is called Doubt is the Enemy of Intuition. Again, I want to start with a quote. Doubt kills more dreams than failure ever will, by Susie Kassem. I think doubt is a feeling that can have many layers, and it can be interpreted in many different areas of your life. Because you can have doubt in many different areas of your life. You can be doubtful about a relationship. You can be doubtful about eating food. You can be doubtful about maybe what outfit you're going to wear on your first day at school. But doubting or being doubtful always comes with this kind of really nagging feeling, at least in my experience, where you're just kind of like getting annoyed with yourself that you're doubting. Now, why is doubt the enemy of the intuition? That is because once you start doubting, it completely overshadows the intuition. And it is like it's completely silenced, or it's instantly silenced. We've all been through this, I think, but this is the best example of being doubtful and to trust your intuition. So we all were in this situation, at least most women among us, and I think a lot of men too. When we go shopping, and we go shopping for pants. I personally hate shopping for pants because it takes a long while. You have to dress, you have to take off your shoes. You know, it's kind of like it's a first world annoyance. But we all have been in a situation where we try something on in the first store that we are at. It fits perfectly, but we're like, you know what? No, I'm just going to see if there are more pants in other stores, and because I feel like there's something better out there, you know. So you go to all of these pants, or you go to all of these stores with other pants, and you try them on. And, you know, some do fit, but not quite like the first one. But you know, you take them off, go to another store, try to fit on some pants there, and you know, you're not really satisfied, and you spend the whole day in other stores trying on other sorts of pants, and you end up at the first store with the first pants. Whereas your intuition is like, yeah, these are the pants, you know, buy them and save yourself a lot of time. Our doubtful mind comes in the way, kind of wins, and we go on this entire journey that we shouldn't have or wouldn't have taken at all. That's a funny kind of coincidence, or that's a funny example of what being doubtful can feel like. But as this quote said, doubt kills more dreams than failure ever will. That is true. I guess the one who doesn't try doesn't fail, but also doesn't succeed. You know, doubting will always lead to the wrong pants, the wrong multiple choice answer, because we've all been in situations too where we are presented by a multiple choice question. We think it's that one, but we say the other one and it's always wrong. It kills spontaneity, and it just, I don't know, it can actually become quite toxic. When you doubt a lot, oh my god, I was in a situation this week where I doubted myself a great deal, and I knew the answer instantly because I knew the feeling that I got from this particular situation, and I knew that it wasn't good, but I doubted it anyways. And then I spent all of this time, I think that I even spent months doubting this. And I came to the same answer as I initially thought before. And that was that I didn't want it. And I still spent months thinking that I did because I'm so used to doubting. But why do we doubt? And why do you doubt? And how can we stop it? Well, we doubt because it is taught to us to doubt. As I said in the last lesson, I think, is that when we have a problem, when we're ill, when we're sick, when we have a toothache, name anything, we always go to see someone else to fix the problem. We have to hear what they have to say about it. No, we cannot choose for ourselves what we want to do. We cannot think for ourselves what we want to do. When we want to really, I don't know, I think it's even like when I'm sorry, I have corona at the moment, so my throat is kind of like, But I think it's even when we're at school, right? We're taking a lesson. We're always hearing someone else talking. We're always watching TV. We're always silencing the voice that is within us. We're always silencing the intuition that resides in all of us. We're never listening to ourselves. We're always looking outward for the answers. We always have to change what is outside of us to change our lives. We're never looking inward. So when you finally come to a decision and you feel like you have the answer, and you're like, this is what I'm going to do. No, the doubting comes. It silences the intuition instantly. And you're left with what? With the same life, with the wrong choice. It never ends well. That's what I wanted to say. It never ends well. We're always being made look outside of us. That's how the system is all set up. So it's completely logical that you don't trust yourself and that you doubt yourself, as I do too. It's hard to listen to yourself. It's hard to break the mold, I guess. It's hard to say to yourself, this is what I want to do. I'm just going to listen to it. I'm just going to do it. No matter what people say, no matter what anyone else thinks about it, I am going to do this because this is what my brain, this is what my heart is saying. Because what would actually happen when you truly make decisions from the heart and you stand by them 100%, you just stand by them and you make them? Do you think that those decisions would turn out wrong? I don't think that they would turn out wrong. Why? Because they're made from the heart. They're made from you, your innermost self. That's where they're made from. And why do I know this? The heart, the intuition, and the heart, it has its own intelligence. The heart is a wise being who kind of knows everything. That's why the expression is always there of listen to your heart. But nobody ever does listen to their hearts because we're always then influenced by the mind. But the mind is full of automated responses and automated learned behaviors that you have picked up on and that you have been identifying with for all of your life. This whole thing here, this brain, isn't where the best decisions are made, like I promise you. Because this brain is being filled with toxicity and negative things all the time that you identify with. This is not you. This is who you are. This is not who you are. When this talks to this, because your brain and your heart, they do have conversations with each other. Maybe not like you and me talking, but they do have conversations. When it is unified, it's in perfect coherence. Brain-heart coherence is a thing that a lot of people are studying now. And you make a decision that is based from this and it translates to that. It goes smoothly. It goes perfectly. And how do you know it? By the way it feels. As I said in my last lesson, the inner intelligence, I kind of wanted to describe to you how it feels when you truly listen to your intuition, but it's kind of like difficult to do because for everyone it's different and you kind of have to figure out your own way and how it feels for you. But when this and these two things are unified, like you're done. It's always right. You cannot get it wrong. Simply put, it goes like this. So your heart and your brain, they do have conversations with each other. But the bigger conversations are from the heart to the brain and the lesser conversations from the brain to the heart. Simply put, how we feel has a direct influence on what we think or the thoughts that are being presented in your mind. How we think has a direct influence on how we behave. And how we behave is how we form our habits, and our habits form our lives. It is like what Joe Dispenza said, is our personality becomes our personal reality. It becomes what is outside of us. So it's not the outside thing that regulates what's outside of us. It's our own behavior. It's the conversations from the heart to the brain. Because the heart, it regulates the feeling that you get in certain situations in your life. The feeling is your heart, That's why we say, trust your feeling. It's basically saying, trust your heart. It's kind of complicated because it's like, it's all the same, It's like subconscious mind, conscious mind, ego, true self, the mind, and the heart. Those are all like the ego and the intuition. They're all seen as these polar opposites and these enemies they're just seen as these polar opposites. But the point is, you don't have to know the whole scientific basis of this. But if you want to know, by the way, there is a website called heartmath.org with a lot of studies done about brain-heart coherence. You can search Dr. Joe Dispenza, Bruce Lipton. Those are all really great people if you want to know more about this. But I'm really interested about this too, but this is not what this course is about. So I'm just not going to get too deep into this. But heartmath.org, I will put the link right here. It's a great website with a lot of studies done about this. So it's just to say that your feelings are extremely powerful. And when doubt comes in, it kind of like overshadows those feelings. And I don't want this doubt to come in. Because, as I said, doubting can also become this pattern. It can always become this behavior that you do. And I've known this for a great time because I wanted to start my YouTube channel. I was really scared about starting it, but I did it. Now I did it anyway. About maybe a year ago, I think. I didn't previously because I doubted a great deal. I was always like, well, what were people going to think? And I'm not good enough, and I don't have the right camera. What should I do? What should I do? Doubt kills more dreams than failure ever will. So when you've got true brain-heart coherence, just basically meaning that you're really behaving out of your heart, your entire life will change. Because feelings, they translate to emotions, and emotions are energy in motion, and they are really powerful. It's basic manifestation rules. You gotta feel as if, you gotta act as if, but most importantly, you gotta feel as if it's already here. Now, I don't want this to become the most important thing, the manifesting, because I don't want your mind being on the results that are out there. I want your mind being on the intuition and who you are, because no matter how good the situation around you seems, a person can still be really unhappy within themselves. And if you got that base core intuition, inner true feeling, when you got that right and when you feel happy, the outer world has no other choice than to respond to who you are, because that is just how it works. You change yourself, you change your life, not the other way around. Now, your feelings are really, really important, really strong. They create your world, as I said. So you got to make sure that this right here is correct in the way that you want. Now, this is another message to you to really start listening to your inner dialogue, because how can you change your world if you don't know what thoughts are happening in your mind? You gotta first of all observe the thoughts that are happening in your mind that cloud over your intuition, that creates this doubt that stands in the way of you creating your dream life. That's what you have to do. That is how you break those habits and form new ones that you want. That is how you change your life. That is what I want for you. And when you start listening to your inner dialogue again, and you start figuring out what your kind of downfalls are and what your unwanted behaviors or your unwanted thought patterns are, I don't want you to judge yourself, because when you judge yourself, that is just another way of the ego to feed itself. It's nothing more than that. Your thought patterns are there. That's just because you have been identifying with them for a long time. Now you're aware of that and you don't have to identify with it any longer. Just don't judge yourself. You were a different person back then, and you did all that you could with the tools that you had back then. You are different now, because there is no past, there is no future, there's no time actually, there's just clock time that we all agreed upon that that's the time. But if you really think about it, there is no time, there's no tomorrow, you never will get to a tomorrow. So the things that happened in your past, those are things that happened in your past, and that's okay, because it's not real anymore. It's about who you want to become now, and that you create your habits and you accept the thoughts that are in alignment with that. That's what it's about. I have done a lot of shit in my past that I'm not proud of, but I am not going to let that keep me from the future that I want to have now. I do have another quote to finish this lesson. You can't wait for that healing to feel wholeness. You have to feel wholeness for that healing to occur. Dr. Joe Dispenza. That was my lesson about how doubt is the enemy of intuition. I hope that this lesson helped you a little bit, and the next lesson is called Trust in the Universe is Trust in Self.